Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a review of the new FQ777 918C. Now, as you look at the 918C, you could tell right away what this is. It's another clone of the SEMA X5C, except this one is even more closer a clone than the Buying toys I did recently. I actually tried it already, and yes, the props can be used from an X5C on this, so SEMA X5C props fit on this. Also, the landing gear matches up the same, looks like the same camera. You know, this is, I don't know, but maybe even the gears can be swapped inside there. But I have verified that, yes, indeed, you can use the props and landing gear, and the camera seems to be the exact same. You know, as time goes by, initially, you know, you see these clones come out, and I noticed that a lot of the manufacturers would make small modifications so that you couldn't interchange parts, so that I guess they were trying to get out of lawsuits. But this one seems to be the closest yet that I've seen that is to a SEMA X5C. And just to show you that, I have a SEMA X5C here. It even has the same markings on the top here. So that's why I'm kind of shocked. So I guess you could also probably use the body of this with the FQ777. It looks like they took a SEMA X5C and put it in a mold and then produced their own clone version. Okay, that being aside, let's find out if it actually performs like a SEMA X5C. Let's go over the features this has, and I have its transmitter here. It does have headless mode and one key return, which the SEMA X5C does not. So that's one advanced feature over this. It comes with the same 2-megapixel camera as the X5C. You see, I talked about headless mode, one key return. The transmitter here, let's go over the transmitter one by one, just because some people buy these and the instructions are usually pretty bad. But this is for changing the different rates of the quadcopter beginner and expert, or low and high, if you will. This one here is for flips. This button here is for headless mode, for selecting headless mode. This is for one key return. This button here is for taking a photo, and this button here is for starting and stopping video. There is a switch up here, which is not in the directions what this is for. So I tried it. It doesn't seem to do anything, so I guess it's for future implementation. The trim buttons for yaw, and the trim buttons for pitch, and the trim buttons for roll all work. This one here doesn't seem to do anything when you press it. I guess that's for future implementation also. It's not for rate. I thought it would be for rates, but this is for selecting the low and high rates. So again, this is another switch, I guess, for future quadcopters that they want to use with this particular controller. Again, the quadcopter itself is the exact same copy, closest copy I've seen to date of the X5C, with the exception of the plastic it's made of. It seems to be more rubbery plastic than X5C plastic. The color comes in jet black. There's no shininess to it all. It actually looks like rubber. A rubber quadcopter. So that's an interesting design for it. The battery inside is the usual SEMA X5C battery. Let's pop it open here and show you. I believe this one is a 500 milliampere. I'll tell you what it is here in a second. It is, yes, it is a 500 milliampere hour. So it's the original X5C batteries. But again, you can use 650s in here. The ones that are currently being sold for the X5C, 650s will fit in here also. So closing it up. Other than that, you know, it's a very close simulation of the X5C. Today is a kind of a breezy day because that, you know, I came out here with prop guards installed. I didn't think it would be as breezy as it is right now. So I am going to remove these prop guards. That's something I recommend to you folks. If you're flying outdoors, you really don't need prop guards as much as indoors. These are really for indoor flying to prevent damage when you hit a lamp or a wall or ceiling. That's when these come into play. Outdoors, take them off because they serve as hooks in trees. If you got a quadcopter 100 feet up in a tree, I bet you got a prop guard attached to that quadcopter. It's just They're just bad outdoors. They also act like sails in the wind. They prevent the quadcopter from fighting into the wind. So before this flight, I am going to remove these prop guards, and then we'll go for a flight here. So I hope you enjoy this flight, and let's go give it a try. Well, just to show that we do have a breeze here. It's about 7-8 knots, or 7-8 miles per hour. I'm sorry, I got to set the miles per hour today. It is going to be breezy, so most of this flight I'm going to try to keep it upwind. That's another important thing for beginner flyers. If you do have a breezy day, try to position yourself wherever you're flying so that you can keep the quadcopter always upwind. Try to minimize it, letting it go downwind, and that'll save your butt many times if you can do such, if you keep it upwind. That way, if you run into problems, the wind will blow it back toward you instead of away from you. So, and also, if you're going to use headless mode, point the quadcopter in the direction when you start it of the wind, such that the wind does not become a factor for headless mode or one key return. Okay, turning on the quadcopter. The quadcopter is on, actually. Binding it to the transmitter. One thing I want to calibrate the gyro is you can do that by going down and out with this one. Let's set it up for a second here. See how it performs here. And beginner's rate. It's relatively low, slow yaw rate in beginners. It's supposed to be. It's beginner's rate. Let's try expert. See if it picks up a bit, and it does. Okay, back to beginners. I'm going to land it right now, and the reason being, I want to turn on the camera, and that I take off with the camera already started, and the reason being that helps me to synchronize the video with the review commentary. And is it recording? Let me double check. Pressing that, the light goes off. Pressing that, the red light comes on. So yes, it is recording. Okay, so let's go for a flight of the FQ777 918C. Hope you enjoy this flight. First off, we got to demonstrate its camera. Let's go upwind a bit. There's a heck of a wind up there. So I'm going to higher rate to get it up higher. And also, at the same time, I'm sending it outward. You know, FQ777 is still kind of a new player. Well, actually, they've been around for a year, about a year. Their first quadcopter, the FQ777 954. Here, let me put it in the level flight here. Whoa, look at that wind take it. You're up about 100 meters, folks. Coming down. There we go. Go up and down. If it loses binding with the quadcopter, go up and down with the throttle. I'll demonstrate that again one more time to regain control of the quadcopter. But that wind is a bear up there. Okay, see what I did? That's what you do to regain control. It's the same way with the CMX-5C. If you want to regain control of the quadcopter, if you lose binding with it, you must. Uh-oh. Okay, I got throttle off here. You know what I forgot to do, folks? I forgot to do a test of what happens when it loses contact with the transmitter, or loss of signal test. Let's go over there. See if we still got bind. Came down here about 60 meters, 70 meters away. Video's still recording. Yes, it is. Let's turn off that video. Video is off. Okay, while we're here, let's rebind it. Okay, we got bind. What I haven't demonstrated is what happens if you lose control or lose signal from the quadcopter or from the transmitter. Okay, transmitter coming off now. 1001, 1002, 1003, 3 seconds you got before it starts to drop. So keep that in mind, folks. You know, if you're up there and you notice loss of control for 3 seconds, that means you're flying out of range. So it has a 3 seconds loss of signal. Okay, let's turn it back on. Pointing it in the direction of the wind. And we're going to try headless mode and 1 key return now. Headless mode. And it's operating in headless mode right now. Comes with a beep. I'm pirouetting it to show you that it is in headless mode. Let's go upwind. And we're going to try 1 key return. And it comes back to you. Again, there's the wind there. The wind is also helping with it. Going to a higher rate. Let's see if I need to be in headless mode for this thing to coming out of headless mode. Okay, without headless mode on, let's go press 1 key return. And it comes back down parallel with the headless mode bearing. So it does not require headless mode to be operative to work. Going back upwind again. One more time for headless mode, or 1 key return. And it works. Okay, let's try flips. Going to a higher rate too because of this wind. Going upwind a bit. Flips. Going way upwind now this time. Okay, that's higher right there. Going way upwind. It's flying backwards down the wind. Okay, we are still in high rate. Let's try the maneuverability. Still kind of a slow yaw rate, even in high rate. Let's go one more time and try that camera one more time. Going way upwind again. Fighting the wind, fighting the wind, fighting the wind. Turning the camera on. Got the camera on, going back upwind again. Turning the quadcopter. Pointing at myself. I don't know if I'm showing up. And going back upwind again. So all in all, you know, it's another clone of the X5C. Let's try it this way. I don't know how the camera looks, but we'll find out here in post-production. This is not headless mode, folks, that I'm using this. I'm using the wind to do this. To keep myself in the picture. Going back upwind again. And again, the X5C is primarily a beginner's learn to fly quadcopter, and so is this. I guess this is as good as any to learn to fly with. Let me land this for a second because I want to sync up that video. There's another way to sync up the videos is use an event like a landing, like there. And that helps you sync up the video if you want to use video with your particular review videos. Okay, let's go back to maneuverability of the quadcopter. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like is kind of a slow yaw on this. I think the X5C might have better yaw, but again, this might be better for beginners to learn to fly with. Again, it has that 3-second delay there if it loses signal with the transmitter. Let's try this other switch. I don't see any change here, or any change there. And I'm pressing this, and I'm not seeing anything going with that. So again, those switches seem to be inoperative. Don't do anything for the quadcopter. Going back, let's fly the rest in headless mode. Okay, pushing to the left. Which way is that camera pointed? I want to keep the camera pointed toward me and turning on the camera. You can see you can use headless mode to keep the camera pointed toward yourself or toward the subject on the ground. That's really what it's for on like camera birds. And it's getting sluggish. It's coming in and it's going to land from the wind. Let's turn that off now, headless mode. Turn the video off and turn the headless mode off. So all in all, it's another clone of the CMX5C, the FQ777. This one does have headless mode. It does have one key return. That's its one advantage over the X5C. You know, if you're looking for an X5C with headless mode, this is one of them. So hope you enjoyed that flight. This is the FQ777 918C. Quadcopter 101, signing out.